they deserve to be in there. They beat an undefeated team. Big Ten is always tough. It's a challenging conference. I definitely have to say after them.
So you would rank Ohio State at what? Number 4 getting in? Because you know they was already down number 8. They had a very, very bad loss to Iowa on the road, where they lost by 30 something. But you can't say they're not prepared, because you're talking about a team that's week in and week out. Urban Meyer, he's already had that program. They won a championship 3 years ago. The whole thing, they got in 2015 at the end, and they won it all. So you have teams like USC, 2-loss teams, because Ohio State is a 2-loss team. And you have Alabama, who's sitting on the outside looking in. Come on, and they don't have too many quality wins, as you would say on that record. But you got to give them the Florida State. This is what I feel like that you can't do. You can't say that a team, just because they get hurt after they get beat, that they're not, they're not a team of rank. So you would take Ohio State over Alabama, because Clemson is going to get in regardless. They're in. Okay, they've solidified they're in. And then Oklahoma is in, period. They got the number 1 offense in the nation. I don't think nobody can pretty much stop them. If you're going to come in, you're going to have to play. I'm going to score more points than you, like a basketball game. Right. So your other 2 would be Ohio State, and who would be your 4th team to get in?
I got to say, and you guys might not agree with me here, but I'm going to say I'm still a fan of UCF right now.
UCF. Okay, so UCF could make the argument. Okay, they're in the top 5 offense in the team. They're undefeated. Okay, they're undefeated. I think they're one of the few left that's undefeated, if not the only one that's undefeated at this point. But then you had to go back 5 years ago to Boise State. Boise State went 2 years undefeated and didn't even crack the national championship talk. So if you want to throw UCF in there, okay, we'll make a statement for them. All right, my top 5, my top 4 would be, if I was going to play it today, I would take number 1 Clemson, number 2 Oklahoma. I would not put Ohio State in there because of their bad loss. I would put Alabama in there. Okay, and because who wants you? But
why wouldn't you?
I wouldn't put Ohio State in there because they have struggled against teams that they should have destroyed. Okay, even last night with Wisconsin. Okay, nobody wants to talk about Wisconsin, but Wisconsin is 12-1. So, in my opinion, I wouldn't put a 2-loss team even in the top 4. Going with your point as far as UCF.
Thanks, Carlos.
Okay. If you're listening in right now, if you're just listening in, we got a few more minutes. You're on the Out of Bounds Sports Show. The show is brought to you by Power and You. The show is also brought to you by Making the World Famous. The show is brought to you by Dan Schmitz and the Up in Smoke facilities, the 7 facilities in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and also brought to you by Z-Web. Okay, so we're going to finish off the show. We got a few more minutes. And we're going to talk some basketball before we get out of here, Kev. So we have the top 10 teams in NCAA basketball right now. Now, I know you're looking at these guys because this is your business. This is what you do, basketball. So tell me who you think should be in the top 10 at this point, or shouldn't be in the top 10 as far as the rankings go at this point.
Right now, very convincingly, Duke is there. I mean, you look at Duke, they're the number 1 team in the nation. You got the number 1 recruiting class, and there's a kid by the name of Marvin Bagley.
Marvin Bagley, he's a freshman.
He's a freshman.
He's an exciting player.
He's really an exciting player. He doesn't get rattled. He's patient. He's almost, David Robinson coined it. He's remnant of Tim Duncan.
Okay.
The kid doesn't get rattled, and he takes his time. I mean, he looks more poised than any collegiate player out there right now to be, on that level. And it almost reminds me of, of Ben Simmons. Just how he moves and how he didn't get rattled. This season right now, being his rookie season, his full come-out season. So I'll start with Duke.
Okay.
Unanimously, they're number 1. They deserve it. But, you go right down to number 10 and you look at a club like Miami who's undefeated. And there's a lot of undefeateds right now.
It really is.
So,
and Miami is down at number 10.
Yeah.
And they're 5-0.
That's quality wins.
And they have some quality wins. Okay, Miami. So what do you think about the Michigan State? They're a one-loss team in the top 3, and they lost against Duke.
Yeah.
Okay, when they was playing the number 1 and number 2 matchup, but they didn't even look like they belonged at number 2 at the time. Duke really dominated them, and even Duke winning the game with Marvin Bagley getting hurt. And going out of the game with a poke in the eye. So do you think that they're legitimately a number 3 team and they should be up there over Villanova and Notre Dame, who are undefeated teams, and also Texas A&M, who's down at the bottom, who has Davis, he's a player, and then Munn.
I think they got a kid by the name of Williams, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. They got some nice players. So tell me about this Michigan State. What do you think about it?
I mean, you can't deny the talent of Miles Bridges, right?
Miles Bridges, he's just a player.
He's a man amongst boys right now in that Big Ten conference, and rightfully so. They had a game where they dropped against Duke, but they're number 1 team. They smashed North Carolina, if I'm not mistaken.
They did.
At the top of the year, and they looked very convincingly in doing so. North Carolina's a good team this year.
They are.
I think you really can't turn an Izzo team away. He gets the job done. His guys come prepared. They play hard for him, and they figure things out. And right now it's early in the season, and they're in the top 10 as they should be. I feel is rightfully, positioned, and they're going to do some wonderful things in that Big Ten conference and even in postseason.
So last but not least, all right, we're going to finish the show off with this one controversial question. All right, I've been up in the air about the Louisville scandal with Rick Pitino, and Rick Pitino has filed a lawsuit against Louisville for $37 million.
Yep.
Okay, really for defamation of his character and the way they fired him. In the midst of trying to figure out the investigation of what was going on with the recruiting violations.
Yeah.
So we're going to end the show with that. Why don't you give me your overview of how they treated Rick Pitino, and do you think that this lawsuit is legitimate to the point where it may shed some light on what happened at Louisville?
Well, I'll tell you this. Where smoke is fire, right? I'm really not qualified to speak on this lawsuit, but what I'll tell you is that, they need to clean the NCAA up a little bit. And Rick Pitino is not immune to that. He shouldn't be giving favors. He shouldn't be given preferential treatment. I mean, this lawsuit should go out the window. I mean, you got some violations, some major violations there. I really like the fact that the NCAA and the FBI have cracked down on this because, in my industry, you go against a lot of the bigger agencies that are, paying for players. And I mean, this has been an ongoing concern in the NCAA game. I understand that these kids get a scholarship and go to school and play, they get a free education, but they don't have enough to eat, enough money to eat pizza and other things of that nature. So coaches getting $18 million a year, things of that nature. I just think climate has changed. The landscape has shifted, and now it gives guys like me, a smaller agency with a big impact, enough, I guess, to go in there and get these bigger names, these bigger, big-time athletes. And I think this lawsuit should go out the window.
Well,
they've had too many issues from recruiting violations, and at some point you got to be accountable. The head coach has to be accountable. They know what's going on in your program, or you should. And if you don't, that's just neglect of your program.
Well, a violation is a violation, in my opinion. And we do have to tighten it up. I do have a son in college, and I do understand that the NCAA have changed the rules. Now they're offering a stipend to athletes in the Division I programs to crack down and to give the kids the opportunity to provide for themselves so they don't have to worry about the outside entities, the influence, the booster clubs, and the distractions. So I think moving forward, it's going to be a tough lawsuit. Rick Pitino is trying to save face. And all his coaches have made a lot of money. And so that's a whole nother show. We're going to talk about it. But Kev, thank you for coming on to the show today. Thank you for being our special guest. We want to thank Dan Smith for hosting us over here at the Up and Smoke facility. Kev, you got something you want to give us?
I just want to say before we go, I want you guys to pay attention to that Grambling University team, that Grambling State University team. There's a young coach down there by the name of Dante Jackson that's doing great things. They just beat a Georgia Tech club the other night. No one in the world thought this would happen. It's kind of like David and Goliath. They play some pretty stiff competition out of conference this beginning of the season.
Okay.
Lost some pretty close games to some big division.
HBCU.
Yes, and it's an HBCU making noise. So stay on the lookout for Grambling University. I just want to say that. Dante Jackson, head coach down there, is doing a great job. Him and Demetrius Moore, those guys. Coach Winston.
Okay. So thank you again. This show is brought to you by Power and You. Visit powerandYou.com for more information on how to find your why. The show is also brought to you by Z-Web Designing. Email zweb at zerohorn@gmail.com. And the show is produced and brought to you by the Making the World Famous. VC is our sponsor for today. VC, can you come give us some stats real quick before we go at the end of the show, so you can tell people how to contact you, how to come experience this mobile barbershop entity that you created. It's amazing. VC is one of the celebrity barbers for the Dallas Cowboys and the Dallas Mavericks in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. V, so we're going to have you in at the show with your stats, and we want to thank all the listeners, everybody on Facebook Live, everybody on Twitter, everybody on Instagram for joining us on the show with Kev Martin and Dan Schmitz. So we're going to end the show with VC giving us his stats, and then we're going to get out of here on the Out of Bounds Sports Show.
Stay tuned. Appreciate you, Mr. Dan.